controlling the, are we live? Looks like we're live. Okay.
The PowerPoint, yes, I will be. Yeah, it's okay. Getting ready to go live right now. I'll give you the heads up when it's live. So, all right, we are live. John, you should be able to find the link now. So,
okay.
I have to hit refresh on your desktop there, but
all right, I will do that. Oh, yeah. There we go.
Hey everyone, I'm gonna put my camera off and my sound off. Let me know if you need me.
Start.
And just so you all know, we're ready to go anytime you are ready to start.
Okay. I'll get ready to start. Welcome to the first town hall of SIU System Strategic Planning Committee. And thank you for joining. I'm Prince Robertson. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am Assistant Director in the Office of Student Conduct and also a committee member and moderator for this town hall meeting. Before we get started, I want to first thank Carol Walker for overseeing the creation and technical support of this live stream. We appreciate the expert advice and knowledge. The format for the town hall will include panelists who will provide a brief overview of the committee's work leading to the working vision, mission, and goal themes you will see shortly. We'll also provide a brief overview of the comments received during the open comments period and comments from the live chat. You can participate in a live chat by entering your comments in the YouTube chat box. Of course, we ask that your comments be respectful and relevant to the information being shared here today. Please note that this session is being recorded and will be posted on the System Strategic Planning website should you want to revisit or share with those who are not able to participate in the town halls. Now, panelists, can you please introduce yourselves, letting us know your title, your pronouns, department, and the group you represent today.
I guess I'll start. I'm John Politz. I'm one of the co-facilitators. My pronouns are he, his, and him.
I'm Nick Niemerg. I serve as the Assistant Director of Constituent Relations for the SIUE Foundation. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm representing the staff constituency group today.
My name is Bethany Peppers. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a second-year graduate student in the higher ed program, and I'm representing the students of SIUC Carbondale.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Our panelists are among a larger committee representing the SIU system campuses and community. The committee includes faculty, staff, students, alumni, and community members who were selected from nominations made by system chancellors, faculty senates, student government and staff, and other constituency groups. As you will see, the committee is made up of a diverse group of members representing campus constituents and stakeholders. We are grateful for their hard work, and we're also grateful for your interest in this town hall and the SIU system strategic planning. Now, before we dive into the plan and the process, it may be helpful to make sure everyone understands what the SIU system is. The system is made up of two universities, SIU Carbondale and SIU Edwardsville. Each university is overseen by a chancellor and includes an array of academic programs, including the schools listed here. Together, they make up the SIU system, which is led by a president. The SIU Board of Trustees is the governing body for the system. It's important to note that the individual universities and some of the units that are part of them may have their own strategic plans. The system strategic plan will serve as an umbrella for the campus strategic plans. It will address the system's overall mission and objectives. Now, I'm happy to introduce our first panelist, Nick Nieberg, who will provide an overview of the planning process. Nick.
Thanks, Prince. So like he said, I will be providing a brief overview of the committee's planning process that has led to their consensus for the working or draft vision, mission, and goals of the SIU system. So prior to forming the Strategic Planning Committee, System President Dan Mahoney formed 8 working groups. They're the Academic Program Development, Diversity and Inclusion, Economic and Community Impact, Employee Satisfaction, Partnerships, Research, Shared Services, and Student Success. And members of these groups were selected from all 3 campuses at Carbondale, the School of Medicine in Springfield, and SIU Edwardsville. And earlier last year, President Mahoney presented his charge to each working group in order to gather input that would serve as a starting point, or the building blocks, if you will, for the system strategic plan. And these working groups submitted their final reports in July, and you can find all of these reports on the system's strategic planning website. And I believe we have that address posted here, and the address will also be shared at the end of this presentation. So as the working groups reports were completed, the System Strategic Planning Committee was being formed, and it met for the first time on September 18th and has met 6 times since then. Using the final reports from the working groups, Board of Trustees planning notes, past system plans, and current campus strategic plans, the committee created a survey to capture input from SIUC and SIUE alumni, community members, faculty, staff, and students. And the questions in the survey focused on general system priorities and additional priorities within the 8 working group categories that I mentioned. And we were able to collect very meaningful feedback from the more than 3,900 responses to the survey. SIUC's applied research consultants conducted a cluster analysis that revealed some significant consistency of perspectives that led to the merging of certain categories to develop specific goal themes. And so from here, the committee had an in-depth discussion that resulted in working drafts of a vision statement, a mission statement, and 5 goal themes. Now, before we look at the working drafts, here's a look at the process for developing the strategic plan. Now, on the left, you're going to see the core planning committee and the vision, mission, and goal themes, and that's where we are today. Once these are finalized, the next step in green is to appoint goal committees to flesh out all of the objectives and the strategies and metrics for each goal theme. And they will provide their reports to the committee for review. And then the SIU system strategic plan will then be forwarded to President Mahoney. So the president will then present that plan to the Board of Trustees, and upon board approval, that plan will be activated. The committee will continue to meet to monitor the progress by providing yearly reports to the president for sharing with the board. So that's the basic overview of our process. So now I would like to pass things on to Bethany Peppers, who will share the working vision, mission, and goal themes. Bethany?
Thank you, Nick. I'm happy to review the working versions of the vision and the mission statements. The vision statement is intended to be bold and aspirational. It's a broad view of how we hope to leave an impact. The vision is to empower people of all backgrounds, students, as well as the communities we serve, and to transform the world for the better as a result of all we do. The mission statement is more specific and provides a framework and purpose. It focuses on who we are and what we do. You'll see some key concepts that grew out of the survey work, as well as other work in conversations of the committee. To ensure that we can fulfill our mission statement, we must have measurable goals. Based on its work and significant discussion, the Strategic Planning Committee identified 5 themes that will serve as the framework for its goals. These working goal themes, when finalized, will help us define and organize specific objectives, strategies, and metrics that will operationalize the strategic plan. Each goal theme is further illustrated by a statement. The first theme focuses on the connected concepts of academic innovation and student success. You'll see that it emphasizes a real strength of the system's campuses, experiential learning, and also focuses on collaborating to create opportunities for students. In each of the slides, we are also sharing some of the key words and phrases that grew out of the feedback in the committee discussions to give you an idea of the thinking underpinning the theme and statements. The second goal theme focuses on diversity, equity, and inclusion, positioning the system as a national model that provides access and opportunity. The third goal theme recognizes that we have an important role to play in our region, in the state, and beyond. The fourth goal focuses on research and creativity. To support both education and community impact, it also emphasizes internal and external partnerships that will contribute to the fulfillment of our mission. And the final theme focuses on supporting our faculty and staff and maintaining a sustainable infrastructure, understanding that our human and financial resources are critical to the system's success. I'll now turn things back to Prince.
Thank you, Bethany. Thank you, Bethany, for both providing, and both of you for providing the background and reviewing our working vision, mission, and goals theme. As you can see, the committee has been busy and will be continuing to monitor the progress of the plan long after it is finalized. The complexity of this process is why your input is so important. Knowing the committee is addressing the needs, and the concerns of the system is extremely important as the goal committees further review and set objectives, strategies, and metrics. As we said earlier, we have welcomed feedback online as well as through these town halls. I would like to ask John Politz to give us a sense of the feedback and questions we have had so far.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Prince. I'd like to thank all of those who have made comments, whether in the open comment period or on this chat so far. Actually, I haven't seen any comments on the YouTube chat yet, but I'd like to begin by sharing an overview of some of the comments we've received during the open comments period, and then we can move on to see if there's any other things that come up. So on the, here we go. On the generally, we've had about 100 responses. All, of course, were thoughtful and generally supportive with constructive comments. Some people have expressed some confusion of what the system is actually, and Prince had made note of that earlier. And of course, this is a process where we are working with the system, not individual campuses. Southern Illinois Edwardsville is right in the midst of their planning process, and SIU Carbondale is at the beginning. Since we have a new chancellor, the chancellor is going around with listening sessions, building creating the building blocks for the SIU Carbondale, the Carbondale strategic plan. And so we're a little behind that. But mainly the system, President Mahoney has asked the system to come up with a plan that will help us be more impactful in the region and with our students as a whole, and finding ways to collaborate and proceed together, because we're stronger together. But this strategic planning process is for the entire system, not focused on campuses, colleges, or schools. So we also had some questions about clarifying people and all individuals, and should we be more specific? Similar questions were about communities we serve. We reference rural and urban, but not suburban. And we reference global, national, local, and regional. So there's a lot of questions that came up about that would help us sort of wordsmith the whole document and get a little more specific or a little broader in certain areas. And we'll be looking at that as things come later. I think the comments about saying individuals rather than students, we believe that we were looking at the broadest definition of who we serve and who this strategic planning process will involve. And of course, we do recognize that students are probably our most important constituents, but this plan also has the goal of helping or addressing the needs of our faculty, our staff, and even our community members. Let's see, what was gratifying was that there were many comments that expressed the hope for system-wide collaboration. And those of us on the committee are dedicated to that. and the whole point of this is to, again, be stronger together. Some questions had suggestions about specific things, but such as international students, healthcare, law school, safe learning environment. But at this point, we are looking at the broader aspects of the strategic planning process. And as Bethany noted, the next step after this is to create committees that will look at objectives that are measurable that we could use to, create our steps going forward. And that's when we'll get to this more specific things and measurable objectives. There was also some comments about what are theme goals? And actually, I had that question myself. And so we are using the term theme goals to represent the general ideas that are guiding us in this process. So there we go. Oh, I'm sorry. I got distracted I was having some trouble reading or getting any feedback in the Zoom meeting or the YouTube meeting. And so those are sort of the things that we were had questions about during the open comment section. And so there are certain things that we may want to discuss, and I may throw some things out to the panelists. Surprise, to refer to, such as let me see. Can we give an example of an objective or metric that might develop from these theme goals? And a possible example for that would be when we talk about academic innovation and student success. A potential objective might be to find pathways to allow students to enrolled at one campus to take classes or courses from another. A measurement of that might be the number of students who do this, their retention, and the longer term outcomes of those students that take courses on either campus. Another example, community impact. A potential objective would be to build a rural health initiative. We would measure that by the number of communities and people served. And then one more, and then I'll get to there has been a comment, a question on the chat of the YouTube. And I'll hold off on that because I've got one more example. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. What would be an objective for that when we want to address that topic? It might be to ensure that faculty and staff are representative of the population that we would serve. So we need metrics to measure what our population is and how we have over time progressed towards this objective. Some other questions might be, how can the campuses collaborate? Well, we already have some examples of that in process. One that I'm involved with is getting library access to the various co-op faculty on both campuses so that our resources are shared if you're teaching, have a non FTE appointment at one or both of the campuses, one or the other campuses when you're employed by the other campus. Librarians and administration are working that out right now as we speak. There's many more things we can think about, but here we've got a question, and I'll throw this out to the panel. Will the data from the fall 2020 survey be made available publicly? And I'm gonna see if, yeah, there he is.
I can answer that. Yeah, the data is several thousands of pages long, but if the committee members remember, we had a very detailed summary that the applied research consultants worked off of. So we would be happy to post that detailed summary on the website.
Okay, thank you, Girish. I don't see any more on the YouTube chat, and I don't want to overstay my welcome, but let me give another question out to the group, the panelists who have talked about this. And the question is, what is the intent of the reference to preserving the strengths of each campus? Anybody want to field that one? And if not,
I can take a stab at it.
All right, I was going to do it, so thank you for saving me.
But John,
saving the
please,
audience.
John, please feel free to back me up with anything that I'm saying. So I think this committee recognizes that each campus does have certain strengths that make the system stronger and also very unique. So we want to play on those to really boost the system's presence throughout not only our small corner of the state, but regionally and nationally. So how do we boost those strengths both within our own campuses, but then how do we broadcast that to the general public? I think that's kind of the general metric that we would use, I think.
I would say so. I think, this is again, stressing the idea that this is a system-wide planning effort, and that we are, again, stronger together. And so we recognize the individual differences in our campuses and also the points of collaboration and collaboration and strengths that we share. And I think one of the interesting things that came out of this was that we were mentioned that we are one of two systems across the state, and that's a little different from other states, maybe a little smaller than some states, but larger, more than others. And so, but we are number two. And so we have a certain strength and a certain characteristics in that we are both urban or suburban and rural. And that there was a lot of discussion in the group about how do we impact our region. And then I think the vision, and I wish I could roll it off my tongue, also looks at how we affect the world. And so while we think, I guess to me, we think locally or act locally and think globally, so that what we do in our region will affect the world. And we see that every day in all that we do. And our students who go on and create a new life for themselves, but think of new things, are creative, and go on and change the world, I guess is what I'm saying. Let's see. Here's a question. We did get thank yous for going for putting up this the overall effects to the or answers to the surveys, and not sharing the whole thing, but a summary. And I've got another question. How are we incorporating community and regional partnerships to enhance programs, to increase financial strengths, and lead to the professional development of students? Let me read that again. How are we incorporating community and regional partnerships to enhance programs, increase financial strengths, and lead to professional development for students?
I think this is something that we discussed when we were talking about our town gown relationships to the areas that which we're in, and especially in the creating professional development opportunities for students. That can look in so many different ways. Looking at different ways that we can partner with the local businesses and create internship opportunities, and just making sure that we're preserving those and improving upon the relationships that are already built. Is something that was a centralized part of the discussion when we were talking about that. So that's definitely not something that's going to be looked over.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Beth. That's exactly, I mean, better than I could say it, but we have been talking about that. We're certainly, again, at least my theme for this whole day is to say there's more to come, and especially we'll get to the specifics when we discuss the strategies or objectives to get these things done, and to put actions to the goals. And I think that's probably, I'm going to say that's it for me. And I think we've got a couple of things in the chat today. If there's more, it'll be recorded in the YouTube chat, and more will be recorded as we this evening, or as we go through this through the rest of this presentation, and they will be addressed later. But I think right now it's really good to be able to talk to you all out there and hear some comments. The open comments period was very fruitful, and we will be taking all of that forward to the next step when we create groups and committees to look at these themes and goals and come up with objectives that will put our thoughts into action. So it's a pleasure to be able to be part of this important critical planning, and please know that your input is valued, and keep watching the strategic planning webpage for further updates. Thank you very much, and back to Prince.
All right, that's good. That's good. Thank you. Thank you, John. And thank you to those who put questions in our chat box, as well as those who gave comments. So before we wrap up, here's a quick review of our next steps. Now, based on the feedback, the committee will consider the comments shared as part of this feedback process before sending a final draft of the mission, of the vision, and goal themes for endorsement by the president. Goal committees will develop objectives and strategies and define the metrics to measure achievement of the objectives and strategies. The final plan will go back to the president and ultimately the board for approval. The plan will be monitored, and annual reports will be submitted to the president. So you can visit the system's strategic planning website for more information and to stay on top of the strategic planning process. Here's the address. And this concludes our town hall meeting. Thank you everyone for coming. Take care.